Hey, family, your girl Sojourner here. Happy Labor Day to you. I hope that you are enjoying your Labor Day, whether you are working, whether you are relaxing, whether you are hanging out with fam and you're at the picnic, you're whatever it is that you're doing. Just I hope that you're enjoying today. A couple of things. One, it's good to be back. I was on vacation. I've got something to upload there, holding myself accountable to upload at least once a month until my change comes, and then I can do it more frequently. Had a great trip in Phoenix, and it was awesome. It was amazing. Great time to connect with my sisters, and it was a blessed time. And there was some beautiful revelations, and looking at the sun, the mountains, the desert, the water. It was awesome. So I can't wait to post that. I just finished a study by Bodie Buckham. Like, love him, hate him. I think he's fantastic, a man of God, and speaks directly out of the word and gives us the correction. And that seems to be his calling. His messages are not easy to listen to. They're sometimes hard to digest, and sometimes they'll take several times. But it forces you to go back and look at history. It forces you to go back and look at the Bible in a different way for you to research and study because you need to study it for yourself. Okay. He just talked about a four-part series on the chapter of Ruth, which I always love this chapter because it's a picture of a love story when a man loves a woman, and I think it's absolutely amazing. But he opened it up in a way that I needed to be refamiliarized with about marriage, about the redemption of Christ and the church, and um, what this stands for and what marriage means for our community and the foundations of family and that kind of thing. So, why am I saying this? Well, you guys know I'm an educator, right? So, it doesn't matter if I'm in the classroom, out of the classroom, the world is my classroom, wherever the Lord has me, right? We are to be light and witnesses wherever we are. Okay. I'm going to tell you what I have noticed that has just, it's just eaten me up. It really is. It needs to be said because we have gotten away from the foundations that make us who we are. Gone is this whole, oh, Christianity is a white man's religion. I understand why Native Americans reject it. It's painful to listen to the history of what their supposed government has done to annihilate an entire race of people in every tribe that is represented in um, the Native American scheme. Horrible. From sterilizing women to taking their kids and raising them up in the Indian school. You need to read about some of this stuff because Africans wasn't the only ones that suffered. Okay, so we need to stop acting like we are or were or did because we are very privileged, and I'm gonna tell you what we're doing with our privileges. First of all, I let me talk about this landscape. You got our young men not being raised up, not being shown what to do with their power, not being shown what kind of structure they should have, not being funneled to live and be trained in the mantle that the Lord laid on them. Okay? Every child is a soul. We are souls with bodies, number one. All right? We're not bodies with souls. Our body is going to return to the dust. Our soul is going to live on. And either we're going to wake up and be in front of the Lord or we're going to be in hell. There's no in between. There's no layaway. There's no praying you over. Okay? Once you stop walking from this earth, that's it. That's a wrap. So let's talk about this. We're not teaching our young men what they're supposed to do and their responsibilities. We're not teaching them how to work, how to get a trade. We're not teaching them the responsibilities of manhood that have everything to do with sex. Sex is a great thing. We're teaching them how to stud. We're teaching them how to live in their lower nature. We're teaching them how to disrespect women. We're teaching them that you don't have to stay with your responsibilities. You can get a woman pregnant, lay your seed up in her, and then leave it up to her to go and abort, kill your child. And that's the answer. Oh, I'm all pro choice. It's her choice, or I ain't dealing with it. She got to do it on her own, including pay for the abortion. That's irresponsibility. We're not teaching them that you can be married, not a partner. A partnership is marriage without God. I don't need nobody to stand up in front of no judge and tell nobody I love you. I love you. Okay, whatever. Whatever on that. Marriage is a commitment. It is a outward a ceremony is the outward show of an internal commitment, just like being baptized. That being baptized is not what saves you. Okay? It's an outward show of an internal commitment. And you mean to tell me that we're teaching our sons that you don't have to commit to a woman to procreate and create family, to raise family in the fear of God, with morals, with standards, with why am I here? Well, let me show you why you're here. You are here, you are made, you are created in the image of God to worship the Lord, to bring Him glory. He gave you gifts, He gave you talents, He gave you things to worship and glorify Him. He also says in His word that your gifts will make a way for you. But we're not teaching them that. We're not teaching it, we're not living it. And we're saying it's okay. We wouldn't have issues with single motherhood if we would teach our men how to be men. We're leaving the responsibility of raising children to Eve. And Eve has to provide. She has to raise. She's got to nurture. She's got to get out there in front. She's got to do this. She's got to do that. She's working one or two physical jobs, and then she got to go home and do all the rest of the jobs because Adam ain't doing what he's supposed to do. And we're saying that that's okay. I grew up in a matriarchal family. Okay? I grew up in brokenness. My grandfather, my uncles, okay, to an extent, my dad, I have a father and I have a biological father. And then my mother was married to a man. Okay? But the examples of manhood in front of me, there was domestic violence, there was addiction, there was functional addiction, where you could get up and go to work, but you leave your family broken. That's what I saw. And I saw that children were a burden, not a pleasure, not a treasure. That once you get pregnant and you have babies and all your freedom is gone and you're not going to be able to do all the things that you want to do. We are wrong, family. We are wrong. We don't want nobody else killing our kids in the street, but yet we won't teach our children how to be men, how to walk upright, how to be young women and carry yourself. You walking around here with your literally your hind parts hanging out of your pants, and you're telling me that's a style. Your belly being pierced, so you got to show it. Your bathing suit, you might as well just be naked. There's no decorum. And I'm not just talking about our race, I'm talking about the races. We need to stop separating. Okay? God made us different to give variety. As my grandmother said, if he made us all looking alike, he'd be bored to tears. That's why he gave us variety. But at the end of the day, we all have two eyes, a nose, and a mouth, and two ears, and a head, and hands, and feet. We all have the same. And guess what? All of our blood is red. So we need to embrace each other, embrace each other's cultural differences, embrace the way we raise our families. Embrace and learn from one another. I didn't say we had to agree all the time, but we got to do better than what we're doing. And I'm speaking to us as a whole. Right now, we have young men that don't have father figures, that are not being taught how to be a man except through a woman. And if that's the only thing that they have, thank God they have that. Because a woman can teach, hey, you need to work. You need to have compassion. You need to use your strength to heal, to protect, to nurture, not to hurt. We need to teach our young women. You don't go searching for a husband. I did. We shacked. I wasn't a virgin when we got married. Come on now. I had a child out of wedlock. And if you heard my testimony, that wasn't my first pregnancy. So I'm speaking to you from a place that I'm saying you buy into this lie about what success is, and then you come back and you're left just as empty and broken as what you was when you got started. Now you got history. So the young woman's walking around, her dress and shirt is so doggone tight. If she wearing the bra, you can see it. Her belly showing, and her hind parts are hanging out of her pants. What is that saying? Hi, I am an object and I want to have sex with you. Not really, but if it means I have a relationship with you, then that's better. We are teaching our kids to use up their bodies and only be guided by their lower nature. Passion is beautiful in the right confines. The structure of marriage is security. Young men, if you're gonna lay with a woman, then you better be prepared to take care of that child, not give her permission to kill it. And if you can't trust her with your child, then you shouldn't lay with her. Put some ice on your groins. Okay? Do something else besides sex. I am charged with teaching you about things, how the world works, where you fit as far as your contribution, the expectation for morality. But I can't do that if somebody's sitting next to you half naked and all y'all talking about texting back and forth is when you gonna hook up and who gonna hook up with who. Come on now. And young ladies, where are the grandmothers, the aunties? Where's the community? You step outside that door and you're like, that dress is way too short. And I'm not talking about being prudent. I love bling. I've got piercings. I like makeup. I like to look nice. I still want to be attractive to my husband. That's not what I'm talking about. There is a way to do things. And yet, when we start trying to put standards and structure, that's your truth. Don't put your truth on me. No, 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 no. Don't come out the house half naked. Because then when you men aren't about anything, well, precious, you are putting a piece of raw meat in front of a lion. What do you expect to happen? Uh-uh. You want a man of quality, then you got to present yourself as a woman of quality. And let me tell you something else. I took my kids to the recycling place, right? We had an old mattress we needed to recycle. And in that place, I looked at the bins. It smelled horrible. Okay. I looked at the bins. I looked at the air conditioning units. I looked at the old computers. I looked at the cardboard. I looked at the mattresses. I looked at trees and furniture and just stuff. That's what we're saying that we need to pursue, the stuff that's going to end up either being recycled or put in the garbage or landfill. We need to pursue that above pursuing the quality of life. And that's not right. You can always tell when a young lady has an abortion. She comes back different. She's different. Trying to reach her is different. There's something different. We're teaching our young women that if you don't want to be pregnant, you ain't got to be pregnant. That whole sexual revolution was nothing but That was nothing but rebellion. And God equates rebellion with witchcraft. It's an abomination to him. Don't do that. Burning your bra. I I understand. I understand men weren't doing what they were supposed to do. You weren't you Men are supposed to have relationship with God. That relationship is supposed to filter to the woman. The woman is supposed to have relationship with the God. You got with God, not a God, with God, Yahweh, Jesus, Jehovah. Okay, let's get it straight. And then the two of them have relationship with God. God is in the middle of this pyramid. Adam, Eve, God's in the middle. God is the foundation. He's holding up both. So you're both walking with God and you're walking with God together. That is strengthening the family unit. Now, does that mean that Eve got to stay home and rear the children? Amen. We live in a two-parent income household. We need it. We've allowed businesses greed to perpetuate charging interest fees on loans that will take us 35 years to pay off. And by the time we get done, we done paid the loan two and a half times over. And our government says that that's okay because that's capitalism, free market. We have rent that's so high right now, people can't afford a house, but you can afford the rent. That is more than a mortgage. That's capitalism. Go run after that new thing. Go run after that new car. The shoes, the jewelry, the bling, the headphones, the phone, the status, the this, the that, all to have it break, decay, and you gotta go replace it. But yet, I'm not gonna pour into you what a young woman should be doing. I'm not gonna teach you the value of holding yourself until marriage. I'm not gonna teach you the benefits of marriage for young men and young women. I'm not going to teach you how the structure of family as God made it is important. Instead, I'm just going to let you do what you want, how you want, when you want to do it, and watch our country implode. And I get to see it firsthand because I'm in secondary education. I get to see people walking around, no clue, don't know why they're there, choosing their own sexuality. I'm choosing this because I feel like I should be this. Is that going to make you happy? Because really, what you're saying is, I am not happy. There is something that is in me that is crying out. It is your need for God. Families struggle with that. We have family members that are part of LGBTQ. I don't know your struggle personally, but I do know deception. I do know lust. I do know that if you give it over to the Lord is going to start talking to you. If you pursue God instead of pursuing this, because you can't have the lifestyle and God. And that's not just for LGBTQ. I'm not calling you out. I'm letting you know you can't be a liar and say that's my lifestyle and have God. You can't run around here and run around on your wife, sleeping with other people, committing adultery, and say, I have God. That's wrong. Marriage is a commitment, friends loving one another, of man and woman. Children are sacred. When you kill a child, you kill everything else that child is going to produce. You kill the grandchildren, you kill that child's purpose, and then our society is lacking. Do y'all notice that the TV shows are the same and the movies are the same and we keep repeating the same? It's like we don't have no new ideas. If they make an 85th Star Wars, I don't know what we're going to do. Or another Indiana Jones, I'm like, come on, man. How about we stop killing the babies that may come up with the better ideas? How about we go back to, all right, we had sex before marriage. That was a mistake. You're pregnant. I'm going to commit to caring for you and that child. I know Eve is your body and nobody's going to tell you what to do with your body, but that baby's half his. And Adam, There's no courage in a man that says, "Oh, it's up to you if you want to kill our child or not." What? We're destroying our kids. We're not correcting them. We're not teaching them. We have parents that don't know how to be parents because they want to be friends. We have, yeah, it's a sacrifice for family, y'all. Yeah, it's a sacrifice for parenthood. Absolutely. But if all you want to do is feed me, five me, you should probably go to the recycling place or to the garbage dump, because everything that you're feeding your flesh is going there, and eventually it's going to destroy you. And at the end of your life, at the end of your days, because we live like we're not going to die, at the end of your days, when they have that space between the date that you were born and the date that you leave this world, and then that space of who's remembering you gets smaller and smaller because you didn't kill your descendants, then what? Is your obituary going to say how successful you were in business? Is your obituary going to talk about how well you made mergers, or the history that you uh, made that's a detriment to the rest of us who have to continue to live? What is it? Y'all should look up the history on Roe v. Wade and how it was perpetrated by a lie. Someone lying and saying that they were raped when they were not. You should also look up the history of Margaret Sanger, who brought legalized abortion to control the Hispanic and the African American community. It's a form of genocide, y'all. We need to go back to what's important. Life is what's important. Structure is what's important. What is wrong with that? If we have somebody run a red light and they cause an accident, there's consequences to that. But if we all run the red light, then nobody's following the rules. Then what's eventually going to happen? We're going to kill each other. Structure's there for a reason, okay? Structure's there for a reason, okay? I know I said it twice. It's there for a reason. We're killing each other by letting ourselves run amok and not enforcing basic rules and laws of morality. We're eating away at our family structure, saying that we can create the family in our image without God. Two women can't be married to each other and you say, "This is my wife." It takes a man to make a wife, and it takes a wife to make a man a husband. You do what you do. But at the end, when your soul is required of you, at the end, when you done sat up here and laid a bunch of kids out in this world and you ain't did nothing to try to take care of them, when your body fails and things ain't working the way that they used to work, are you gonna go rely on one of those kids that you didn't take care of, that you didn't build relationship with, because you're being irresponsible? At the end, when you mutilate your body to try to make it into something that it is not, are you gonna regret that? Press into God. See what He says about your life. See what He says for you. See what He has for you before you decide to throw it off. And for those of us that profess to know God, start speaking up, start setting boundaries, start living what thus saith the Lord. And I'm not saying that you just run around here with a notepad saying, "You did wrong," snobby, looking down at people. No, love, love, love. Press into God, press into God, press into God. We have prodigal kids. We were prodigals. We have to set boundaries because this is our house, and our house stands for what God stands for. The candidate that we vote for. I ain't voting for the color of my skin because that's an idol. I'm voting for the candidate that most resembles what God wants in marriage, in life. Because we can't have a country without God. We're going to implode, y'all. But no matter who sits up in the office, the Lord is still in control. All right, that's your sister signing off. Till the next time, remember to live life well, to love better, and to always laugh.